Hello, my name is Kai, and I'm a bit of a rambler. I like to travel, learn, and tell stories, and today I want to talk about snacks. I think I did finish my favorite foods in China episodes with all the main foods in 1, 2, and 3, but I do have a few snacks that I didn't mention right off that, like right now, I would say are also my favorite foods. Like I'm addicted to a couple of these, so this will be a shorter episode, but these are honorable mentions of favorite foods in China that I should talk about that are more like snacks rather than entrees, mostly. And my mouth is actually watering at the thought of this first one. Enoki mushrooms in chili oil. Those are also known as pin mushrooms or jinjianggu in Chinese. But yeah, they're like those long, white, thin mushrooms in clumps. Now, I do like those mushrooms, and in China they love to tell you they're called see you tomorrow mushrooms, Mingtian Jiangu, because they're difficult to digest, so you might see them tomorrow in the restroom. Now, enoki mushrooms are great anyway, and I like them at Xiaokao and all this other kind of stuff, just in hot pot or whatever. But I found this snack, and it's a little pouch of enoki mushrooms soaking in chili oil. And I'm sure I've talked about it. I love chili oil. I love spiced chili oil. And mushrooms are healthy and tasty. And it's a real crunchy texture, the enoki mushrooms. So one of my life delights are to open one of these packets and just crunch down on these crispy enoki mushrooms marinated in spiced chili oil. It's so delicious and satisfying. Obviously, with all of these things I'm going to mention are great with drinks, and I ate most of them with drinks. But the enoki mushrooms and chili oil, I could eat, 20 of those packets without breaking a sweat. No problem. I bought these all the time after I found out they were a thing. They became my go-to snack. And they're a more recent one. I didn't know about them for the first probably 5 years or something I was in China. I just never got them because I just didn't know about them. There are so many tiny snacks in Asian markets, and there's so much great food that I was just unaware of some of these snacks, like enoki mushrooms in chili oil. I highly recommend looking them up at your local Asian market. I did find them in Asian markets before, because they are a pretty popular snack, but they're not ubiquitous. But if you have an Asian market in your city you like to go to, man, enoki mushrooms and chili oil are the best. They're all in these little foil packets, and the chili oil is like there's other normal Chinese spices mixed in, like anise star and cinnamon, and just very lightly, so it gives the chili oil an even richer flavor. Oh my gosh, seriously, my mouth's watering talking about it. It's crazy. Okay, normal fried salted peanuts. I got these a lot. There was a place near one of my schools, and I lived in an adjoining apartment to that school, and after work was out, I would go down to this one place. It was on the corner of an intersection, and it was inside a building, and you couldn't go inside, but there was a plate glass window that kind of wrapped around the corner of the building, and there were 10 people back there preparing all the various foods. And everything in there is great. But I tried the fried salted peanuts once, and I was like, what? How are these also better than normal fried salted peanuts? They did also have lajiao, like minced red chilies mixed in, which was another important factor. So I started getting bags of those, like kilograms of those, liangjin, I would get every time. And then I just have this huge bag, tens of thousand calories or whatever it is. But I would devour it because it's just delicious. And it's a good snack when friends come over. Like I said, you're just drinking beer or whatever. But I would usually get the fried salted peanuts when I got the next item on this list, cured heart. So heart is my favorite cut of meat. It's a little denser than most other meats. It does work constantly. So jushin, pig heart, or nyushin, beef heart, I think these guys usually had beef heart, but it would just be a hunk cured, dry cured heart. And you could get a pound of it or 2 pounds if you were me. And I got that every birthday or like holiday. That would be like my special treat because it was kind of expensive. It was like $5 a pound. But it's such a rich, salty, flavorful meat with the perfect texture. And often on my birthday, one of my fondest memories of a birthday in China was getting a heart and a bag of salted peanuts. And there was a liquor store that had whiskey, which is very rare in China, imported whiskey. And they had a 14-year-old Glenfiddich for on sale during my birthday. And I got that. So I had this great 14-year-old whiskey. I really like Glenfiddich. 14 sounds wrong. It might have been 12-year. I think that was correct. I usually got the 12-year. And one time I got the 15. And then a beef heart and the salted peanuts. And I had a friend over and we just cut slices off and talked about the school and joked and shared stories. But it's such a satisfying snack, this cured meat. I love beef jerky too, but this isn't exactly jerkied. It's just dry, aged, cured meat. So it's super salty and super rich and delicious and easy to eat, and you can just cut slices off and eat it up. And man, that was like my special food. Like Thanksgiving turkey, I would much rather have a Thanksgiving cured heart. The texture and flavor is just so rich and delicious. So, cured beef heart. Favorite snacks, crunchy garlic peas. Exactly what they sound like. I feel like those have become more popular in the US lately. There's a whole bunch of different flavors. I like the garlic ones the best. So they just fry up green peas until they're crispy, crunchy, and then sprinkle garlic powder on them. Done. That's it. Bob's your uncle. Crunchy garlic peas are delicious. You can crunch them and eat them with beer. Each of those snacks, like I said, the one that probably had the most staying power were the cured beef heart I mentioned, because I would buy that on special occasions, on holidays or my birthday. I liked to keep that as a real special food, so I might like that one the best. Oh, but the enoki mushrooms, difficult. But all those other snacks, when I first found out about them, I bought them constantly. Like every day I would go by and buy another 20 pouches of crunchy garlic peas or fried salted. Oh my gosh. You know what the number one freaking beer snack I went crazy on was? Pickled string beans. And that's all they are. They cut up string beans into like tiny 1/8 of an inch slices and then pickle them and put them in a metal pouch that you buy for 25 cents or whatever. Mouth's watering again. I love little salty snacks when I'm drinking beer. And for years, I would buy one of these packs of pickled string beans if I didn't want to go get any food. I could always stop by the supermarket, get this easy little pouch of pickled string beans, and, a modest 20 beers or so. And, if I wasn't doing anything the next day, that was my night. I would just, I have very clear memories of playing The Witcher 3, munching on the string beans, popping open a beer, drinking it, string beans, playing the video game, and just having a great time at my stand-up desk with my snacks and beer and video games. It was really fun. So any of these snacks, like they sound simple, fried peanuts or crunchy garlic peas or whatever, but they really were like my favorite food at the time. I would teach just looking forward to the end of the day where I would, not because I hated teaching or I was like tired of the class. I loved my students and I had a good time teaching, and the teaching hours are so, by that point, when I was getting the pickled string beans all the time, that was after I started my own school. So I was only working 12 hours a week or something like that. So every time I had work, I was just like, hey, I get to hang out with these like cool, smart students again, and their parents all think I'm education incarnate. And it's just a completely positive experience where I'm making a very decent profit. But while I was teaching, I was just like, ooh, and I'm going to eat my snacks soon. Just like really excited to eat my snacks. Oh man, and that school right downstairs had Hui Guo, which I must have mentioned in an earlier favorite China foods episode. I think I worked 3 days a week at that second school, maybe 4 days a week. But almost every day I would just walk downstairs and get that Hui Guo first, have some of the plum wine in that restaurant. And then after that, I would go get one of these snacks, the enoki mushrooms chili oil or the pickled string beans or something, get my beer, maybe yak jerky from the guy who was selling it in the evening, and then head home and imbibe and have snacks and watch movies or play video games or hang out with friends. It was great. But that's how much I love all of these snacks. They were my favorite foods. I would just think about them like, man, I can't believe I get to eat that again. Like just one time I ate enoki mushrooms and chili oil. If I only got to eat that one time, like had a dish of enoki mushrooms and chili oil, I would remember that dish. I'd be like, oh, I remember this one time I had the best mushrooms ever. But I got to eat them every day I wanted to for basically nothing. It's so cheap to get all these snacks. Even the cured beef heart, my like fancy dish, was only $5 a pound of meat. So it's like a lot of food. And I could just slice off thin slices of this cured heart. Oh, it tastes so good. I want it. Yep, make me want to go back to China again. I was just talking to some guy in my hostel here about China, and I was telling him how great it is teaching there and, working 20 hours a week and saving money and eating the best food in the frickin' world. Maybe that's where I'm going next. Okay, that's it. That's really it. There's plenty of other snacks, like 100 other snacks that I could talk about, but they aren't my favorite. So there's like this dried tofu covered in chili oil, and it was good. I got it for a while, but I was never thinking about how I was going to get it out. Actually, maybe I did sometimes, but it doesn't have the staying power of these other ones. There's hai dai. There's like seaweed and chili oil in the little packs, and that's good. But again, it doesn't like grab me like the pickled string beans, enoki mushrooms, chili oil, the garlic peas. Those fried salted peanuts were so good. Okay, the last thing I'll say is hot pot stir fry. So I buy a block that's congealed beef oil and like a whole bunch of Chinese spices in a hot pot block, and you can cut off half the block, throw it in a pot of water, you have instant hot pot, put in your meat and vegetables, great hot pot. But as far as like my favorite foods that I still make, I made this every day this week. Anytime I make stir fry, or I'm making like a shrimp seafood or steak, anything I want to cook, when I'm cooking it, if I want a good, deep, complex flavor, I cut off a square inch of that hot pot base. Then I cook the food to the consistency I like it, the texture I like it, which is usually al dente. I throw that in a bowl. I melt down that square inch of hot pot base, pour that over, mix it up. Perfect every time. Just melt it over low heat, because if you do it on high heat, it'll turn kind of brown and the flavor won't be half as rich. But if you just melt down the oil on low heat until it's melted completely, but still has that very bright red-orange chili oil color, it has all of its flavor still in there. You don't have to put it in a pot of water to get the hot pot flavor. You just drizzle that over whatever you have cooked, and you have instant, amazing Chinese stir fry or whatever food you want. So I have to also mention that because I maybe eat that more than anything else. Every time I cook, basically, I'm using that hot pot oil if I have it. There's no way I eat it more than like the pickled string beans. I had oh my gosh, hai tai. That's not a specifically Chinese snack, but dried nori, the seaweed, that has to go on this list. That was my favorite snack forever. And in China, I bought boxes, like huge boxes, literally like a meter long by maybe a third of a meter tall. And it would be 10, 12 packs of Korean roasted nori. So this is going to be the only non-Chinese snack on this list. But it's worth mentioning because that's 120 foil packs of dried salted nori, like seasoned roasted nori. And sometimes I would eat an entire box in one night. Watch a movie, open a pack, drink a beer, eat the pack, open the next pack, and I would just open all those packs. But that was the main thing I got delivered. So in China, like I mentioned, everything is so convenient. You just get everything delivered to your door. And the thing I ordered more than anything else, more times than anything else, was seasoned laver, or roasted seasoned nori. My mouth is still watering. And sometimes I would drink and then just fall asleep after I ate all of it. After I watched my movies or play video games or whatever, and I would wake up and my whole floor would be covered in foil wrappers and little plastic cartons and containers. Yeah, once I found out I could order nori online, hundreds of them, and have them delivered right to my door for nothing again. I think each box was less than 100 yuan, which is like $15 US, for 120 packs. That's crazy that I ate that many. I remember sometimes I would eat so many that my teeth would start to hurt, like I was chewing on sugar or something. And I know sometimes the boxes were like 50 kwai, or about $7 US. So it was anywhere from 2 cents to a maximum of 10 cents per little pack. But I always looked for the sale because they have like 100 different companies you can buy from, and one of them's always on sale. Yeah, so it cost basically nothing, and I just ate hundreds of those packs as celebrations and then just as routine. So thank you. Honorable mention, favorite foods, favorite snacks, pickled string beans, enoki mushrooms, chili oil, fried salted peanuts, cured beef heart, crunchy garlic peas, hot pot stir-fry mix, and roasted seasoned nori. Oh, those foods are too good to even think about any longer. I'll go crazy, so I'm going to sign off here and go look at plane tickets to China. It was so good talking to you again. Tell me about your snacks. Thank you for listening. Bitofarambler@gmail.com are all the socials. I'll talk to you soon.